Okay, the main lesson objective is to learn the chords of C and F.
To add to the 7 that we've learnt already.
Add to the 7 we've learnt already, so that gives us a nice little set of 9 chords through which you can play many songs. Okay, so that's first lesson objective. We're then going to learn a technique or a part of the F chord called the barre or barre. I'll speak about that later on.
Good.
And we're going to integrate the chords with the chords we've learnt previously and practice the new chords over the strum patterns that we've also learnt previously.
I like it. Okay, let's start with these new chords then.
Okay, the first one I'd like to look at is a chord of C. Chord of C is a new one insofar as we've got 3 fingers in the chord, which we have done before, but in this particular chord we have a finger in 3 different frets.
A finger per fret.
Finger per fret, that's not something we've had before in any of the chords we've learnt. How we play this particular chord is by placing the 3rd finger on string 5 at fret 3, the 2nd finger on string 4 at fret 2, and the 1st finger on string 2 at fret 1. Chord is C major, and we strum from string number 5. That's the sound of the chord. I'd just like to talk about the thumb briefly.
Yeah.
We have spoken about this slightly before, but because there's a bit of a stretch in this chord, some people may find it easy to drop their thumb a little bit lower. It is possible to play the chord with my thumb right up at the top. I can do that. But if you drop it down, it lets your hand stretch out a little bit, something we spoke about in one of the previous lessons.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about, and try and keep the thumb behind fret number 2 when playing that chord, not stuck over fret 1, but right behind fret number 2. So that's the chord of C major.
And when you play it, what do you do with your little finger?
Basically just keep it out of the way. Not much more than that, to be honest with you. It's always a bad thing to tuck any remaining fingers or unused fingers behind the neck.
Yeah.
You do see this happen quite a bit, though.
Oh, really?
Usually because people are gripping so hard, the hand tenses up and it makes your fingers go behind the neck. Not a good thing, obviously, because you've then got to bring it back out. But
it's going to impede your movement.
It's going to impede your movement, but generally just try and let it relax, and just, some people will have it like that against their 3rd finger. My little finger tends to be a bit stray, to be honest, but you know, keep it away from behind the neck. That's the main thing. Okay, that brings us to the chord of F. Now F is also, well, F is a unique chord amongst the 9 that we will now have learnt, because it has something in it called a barre or barre. What that means is we're actually playing more than one string with one finger, which is a little bit of a tricky technique. When we move into part 2 of the Essential Guitar Skills course, we'll talk about what we call the full bar, where we actually stretch across all 6 guitar strings. But in this particular chord, we're playing 2 guitar strings with one finger. Now those are strings 2 and 1 at the 1st fret. I'm laying my 1st finger flat across those 2 strings. I then take my 2nd finger and place it on the 3rd string at fret number 2. I then take my 3rd finger and place it on the 4th string at fret number 3. Another way people might like to build the chord up, depends on the individual, is to actually start the other way round and put the 3rd finger on the guitar first, 4th string, fret 3, 2nd finger, string 3, fret 2, and the 1st finger then dropping into place on the top 2 strings at fret 1.
I wondered why you did that, because when you explained the first one, C, you started with your 3rd finger.
Yes,
I thought that was unusual.
The reason I did that is I just think of the chord from the note that it roots from, I suppose, and we're trying to think about it that way around. It's important when you're changing the chords, whilst you want all fingers to land simultaneously, when you're learning the chords at first, and this particularly applies to C, the 1st string you're going to hit with your right hand is the 5th string. My experience of people learning this chord is that they lay the fingers down one at a time, and we tend to lay down finger 1, then finger 2, then finger 3. That's instinctively the way our hands seem to work. But that means we've put this finger on the guitar and I'm about to hit this string. So at least if you try laying them down that way, eventually you want to land them all simultaneously, but try it that way round rather than that way round. Then you get the 1st note on first.
Okay.
As for the F, the reason I spoke about that, putting it on a separate way, is I know that some people will struggle with this bar. So what I want people to try is different ways of setting the chord up when they learn it at first. So start off with a bar and then put the other fingers down, try it that way. Or try laying fingers 3, 2 and even finger 1 down just on the 2nd string and then flatten it over.
Okay. Just
try a couple of different ways to get used to that chord, get it to play. And as with all the previous chords, play the strings one at a time, make sure they ring properly. Again, particularly with the bar in the chord of F, you might find a bit of...
On the 2nd and 1st, yeah.
Going on, yeah. persevere. It's just hand position. Make sure that your finger really is pressing both strings down. It's not just sitting there and it's not really pressing down. Just be careful about that and experiment with your thumb. Again, some people find it more comfortable to drop their thumb right over the top. Some people more of a classical technique, dropping their thumb down the back. You just have to experiment and find what's good for you.
And obviously, we're following along here with the finger and fret position, but we've obviously got the notes at home.
We've got the notes at home, we've got the chord diagrams, and we've got the videos where you can see, you know, the hand on the fingerboard.
Okay. All right, the problem with the barring, with the first and second, do people have a tendency then to not apply the right amount of pressure in the right place?
Exactly. That's exactly what goes on. They may... The most important thing is to make sure that your finger is actually lying across both strings, but still pressing. And particularly the top string is the one that gets left out sometimes. Yes, you flattened your finger and you're pressing on the second string, but I'm not really pressing the top string there. And to somebody who's learning the chord, they may think they are, but just move that around, flatten your knuckle over a bit, try it on its own, see what that feels like by itself, then lay the fingers back down again. A little bit of practice, it will come. It's not terribly hard to play, but it's unusual in the 9 chords that I've taught everybody so far.
It's a new technique.
It's the only one with that technique.
All right, okay. Let's move on. What's next?
Okay, what I'd like to do is then move on and bring up the extractor, if we may, and practice playing the chord of C here at exercise number 3. What we're going to do is just play 2 bars of quarter notes, same as we did in lesson 7 and 8, with all those other chords. Just get used to strumming the chord, get used to the sound of it, get used to the feel of the chord under the fingers of the left hand, but just play it to the backing, so it feels a bit more musical.
Good stuff. What kind of speed would you like to go at?
I think 80 will be fine.
If you say so, then it shall be.
Lovely. Here we go.
So this is the chord of C, just in quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chord of C.
That's the chord of C.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You stopped before I turned the music off.
I'm sorry, I did. I'm so keen to go on to the next exercise, which is exercise 4, where we still just stick with the C chord, but we're now going to play it over the rhythm that we learnt in lessons 7 and 8.
Okay, and that
so we're
rhythm
actually going
was?
to strum, which is 2 quarter notes followed by 4 eighth notes in a bar, which comes out as 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and I'm just going to practice that rhythm over the chord of C. We should be familiar with the rhythm now anyway, hopefully, but just play it over the new chord.
Remembering those up and down strokes.
Up and down strokes, upstrokes on the ands of beat 3 and 4.
All right, I'm going to play this again at 80.
Can we have it to 100, please?
All right then.
I only say that because, again, just to recap, it's easier to play the rhythm if it's a little bit quicker. You want some momentum in your right hand, so I'd say try 100, especially on one chord only.
Whatever you say, you're the boss.
Okay. Here it is.
So 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. Chord of C. Talk me through the finger positions on this.
Finger 3 goes on fret 3 at string 5.
Yeah.
Finger 2 goes on string 4 at fret 2. And finger 1 goes on string 2 at fret 1.
Good. And this is exercise 4 if you're playing along at home. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and...
Now what I would recommend everybody does is they practice exercise 3 on the C chord and exercise 4 on the C chord. They then move ahead and play the exercises which are identical but on the chord of F.
Okay.
Okay, so quarter notes only on the chord of F, and then the proper rhythm with the quarter notes and the eighth notes also on the chord of F. And then we'll move on and we'll join them up. I'll try and play some bars of C and some bars of F. So if we go on past exercise number 6 to exercise number 7, what I'm going to do here is practice playing 2 bars of C quarter notes to 2 bars of F quarter notes as well.
All right. And then what we're looking for here is the change between the 2 chords. We're
looking for the change between the 2 chords, but if we look at the chords, they're actually quite similar shapes, and the first finger's already in the right place insofar as it's on the second string at fret 1. We then need to flatten it over to get both strings for the F. But at least the fingers are in the same frets for this chord, so it's a movement from C to F. As you can see, that doesn't look like a great deal of movement.
No, an economy of movement.
Economy of movement.